June 18, 1815, the day that changed European history forever. On the rolling fields of Belgium, Napoleon Bonaparte faced off against the combined might of the British and Prussian armies. But what truly sealed Napoleon's fate wasn't just superior numbers. It was a single mistake. Fatal blundered by one of Napoleon's most trusted men, Marshal Ney. Marshal Ney, often called the bravest of the brave, was a seasoned and fearless commander. He had stood by Napoleon's side through countless battles, winning victories and earning fame on the battlefields of Europe. But on this fateful day, his instincts failed him. Waterloo was a complicated affair. The French army was attempting to punch through the British line before the Prussians could reinforce them. Napoleon's strategy was bold but relied heavily on timing and precise coordination. Ney's role was crucial. He was to command the cavalry and strike when the British lines began to crumble. But here's where Ney made his fateful mistake. Believing that the British were already retreating, he ordered an all-out cavalry charge against the center of their forces. Without the support of infantry or artillery, Ney's cavalry stormed ahead into a trap. British, under the command of the Duke of Wellington, were prepared. Instead of retreating, they formed defensive squares, a time-tested tactic to fend off cavalry attack. The French cavalry circled, charging again and again, but it was no use. Without artillery to soften the British formations, and with no infantry to break the squares, Ney's cavalry charge was a disaster. Hundreds of his men and horses fell in vain, while the British held firm. Meanwhile, Napoleon watched from a distance, unable to fully comprehend the blunder unfolding before his eyes. By the time Ney realized his mistake, it was too late. Thousands of French soldiers were lost, and the opportunity to break the British line had slipped through their fingers. As if Ney's failed charge wasn't disastrous enough, the Prussian army, under Field Marshal Blucher, arrived on the battlefield. With fresh troops pouring in from the east, Napoleon's forces were overwhelmed. What could have been a decisive victory turned into a catastrophic defeat. Napoleon would later say that Ney's reckless decision cost them the battle. While there were many factors at play in Waterloo, this moment, this single blunder, was one that sealed the fate of the French Empire. Waterloo marked the end of Napoleon's reign. The dream of a French-dominated Europe died that day, all because of one critical misjudgment by a man who had once been one of Napoleon's greatest assets. Marshal Ney's courage was legendary, but at Waterloo, his bravery was overshadowed by a disastrous lapse in judgment. After Waterloo, Ney faced trial in France, accused of treason for siding with Napoleon during his return from exile. Despite his previous loyalty, Ney was executed by a firing squad later that year, his life ending in tragedy, much like the battle that defined his legacy. So while Napoleon's ambitions came crashing down at Waterloo, it was Marshal Ney's ill-timed cavalry charge that played a pivotal role in this historic defeat. A battle that could have shifted in favor of the French was lost in a whirlwind of confusion and misjudgment. And there you have it, the brave Marshal Ney, who charged right into the history books. Unfortunately, for the wrong reasons. If you want more wild stories from history, be sure to hit that subscribe button and drop a comment if you think Ney deserved his nickname as the bravest of the brave. Thanks for watching.